Right guys, welcome back. I thought I will record, do warm up 3 as I've been made to notice. So join me in the middle of the mat. So standing up nice and tall, trying to find your neutral alignment. Body weight evenly spread from the back of the feet, inside and outside of the feet. Toes are light, the arches are lifting, the knees are soft, the back is in neutral, 3 soft curves running down the spine. Shoulders are down, the chest is lifted, the chin parallel to the floor. Aware of the breath, making sure that you're breathing, not holding, focusing on the shoulders, focusing on the upper back. I'm going to start rolling the shoulders back. Nice easy circles, there might be some scrunching, clicking. As far as there is no pain with it, I'm going to keep the movement going nice and big. If there is pain, discomfort, I'm just going to ease off on the size of the movement. So see if you can picture your shoulder blades running around at the back of the ribcage. So see if I can try and exaggerate the movement, really trying to feel the blade going round and round, the shoulder girdle moving. As I feel the movement starts getting a little bit easier, feels a little bit smoother, then I'm going to start working on the shoulder joint as well. I'm going to start rolling the elbows back. So progressively see if I can make the circles a little bit bigger. Finding the size of the movement that works for the shoulders. So it could be a small movement, it could be a big movement. It's whatever works for the shoulders, whatever gives you the best movement through the shoulders and upper body. The shoulder girdle is still moving. I can feel a little movement into my thoracic, into my upper back too. And then I'm just going to get the shoulder joint moving with the arms circling around. 3, 2, 1. And releasing back, releasing the shoulders, reversing the circles. I'm going to bring the shoulders forward. Just the same as before, see if I can encourage the shoulder girdle to move as much as possible first. So really feeling the shoulder blades are sliding up and down, out and in at the back of the ribcage. So see if I can unglue them from the back of the ribcage. And then once that I feel the movement again, feels a bit easier, a little bit loose, then I'm just going to add the arm. I'm going to start rolling the elbows forward, starting with a little movement again, and then testing the range. I might find going this way, I can make it bigger, or no, I find that it clicks, it catches, it feels painful. So I'm just going to stay small, but still encouraging some. Noticing difference between the right and the left shoulder, the right and the left arm. Notice the tension into the neck, as if I can keep the tension at bay. 4, 3, 2, 1. And releasing down, relaxing the shoulders, releasing the upper back, changing the direction one more time. I'm going to go back to the backwards roll, but one shoulder at a time. So I'm going to roll back one, take back the other. Roll back one, take back the other. And then same as before, same as I've been doing so far. Still exaggerating the shoulder girdle moving. Encouraging a nice rotation from side to side. So I'm going to follow the right shoulder, follow the left, follow the right, follow the left. Encouraging the hips to stay forward, so making sure that I'm not turning, I'm not twisting from the legs, I'm not twisting from the knees. And then same as I've been doing so far, see if I can start adding the little roll with the elbow. So keeping the arm low, keeping the arm wide, taking it high, nice narrow circle. So finding the movement that works for the right and then works for the left. And then as this time I'm moving one side at a time, I could make it small on one and big on the other side. So it's whatever works for your right shoulder and whatever is good for the left. 4, 3, 2, 1. And releasing back, releasing the upper body, so a little bit more movement up at top. I'm going to try and see if I can get the legs a little bit more involved too. Stepping the feet a little bit closer together. It's about hips width apart, maybe a little bit closer. And then I'm going to start going into a little hip flexion. So see if you can find the hip joint, and then I'm just going to flex it forward and then extend back without going too fast. I'm not trying to go too low, too close to the ground. I just want to be aware of the movement happening in the hip. So if I feel, or if you can see your lower back, the lower back shouldn't be changing shape. So it's not rounding, it's not flexing, I'm not moving from the back, I'm moving from the hips only, and then I'm going to come back. If the hamstrings are tight, the movement will be restricted, as the hamstring will tend to pull your pelvis down, so that will tend to encourage that lumbar flexion. See if I can try and encourage the back to stay in neutral, so stronger connection at the front of the belly, and then I'm just going to hinge my way forward and back. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and releasing back, releasing the hips, releasing the legs, so I can feel the hip joint, I can feel the flexion happening in the hip. What I want is to keep the flexion going, but working it in reverse. So I'm going to step the feet even closer than before, and then this time I'm going to bend the right knee, roll up onto the ball of the foot to come up onto the big toe. I'm going to get into hip flexion on that right side. So I want the hip to flex and the thigh bone to come up. So same as you did before, making sure that the back is not rounding, the body's not leaning backwards to create that lift. It's just the leg that is moving up and then it's coming down. Then I'm going to try the same thing to the other side. I'm going to lift and then I'm going to drop. So finding the hip flexors, think of an exaggerated marching movement. So I'm going to try and lift that leg and then drop it back. And then notice how much heavier one leg might be feeling compared to the other. One hip might be feeling a little bit more restricted than the other. Notice how the legs are moving. My left leg, as it comes up, it's a straight forward, straight ahead. The right leg, if I don't pay attention, it tends to kind of like a swing in before it comes up. So see if you can try and think of a nice straight lift with the right and a nice straight lift with the left side. So notice in which direction the knee is pointing. Notice the femur, notice the thigh bone. Am I internally rotated, so is the leg slightly twisted in as it's coming up? Is it exaggerated and twisting out? So see if I can find a nice and neutral lift, the right and left side. And then now that I feel that the movement is getting a little bit easier, so I feel that I've got more control. The hips feel level, the upper body feels nice and relaxed, the balance feels better. I'm going to try and combine the upper body. As the right leg comes up, I'm going to rotate to the right, reaching across with the left hand to touch the leg. Then I'm going to ease back. As that left leg comes up, I'm going to rotate to the left, reaching across with the right arm and come back. I don't want to exaggerate the movement, so I'm not trying to turn too far. It's just a little movement forward and back. So again, I'm trying to get that exaggerated marching movement, swinging one arm forward and across, back, forward and across, and then back. And then as you keep that movement going, notice that direction of the leg. Can you make sure that it's your hand that is going towards the leg, not the leg that is trying to move towards the hand? So notice the position of the hips. Do you feel wonky? Do you feel twisted? Or do the hips feel in neutral? Do they feel nice and lined up? So see if I can maintain the leg doing what it was doing, and then just getting the upper body to rotate on top. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, releasing the hips or releasing the legs. There's a little bit more connection into the stabilizers. I'm going to try and see if I can get a little bit more movement, but changing the load slightly. I'm going to step the feet out nice and wide, turning them slightly off to the side, and then these down, flexing from the hips, bending the knees. I'm going to start coming down into a little wide squat, and then I'm going to squeeze my way back up. Same as you've been doing so far. It doesn't matter if I'm going deep, or it doesn't matter if I'm staying shallow. What I want is to really try to be aware of the connection front of the leg, back of the bum, and side of the hip. Because it's a wide squat, it's a duck squat. So encouraging that external rotation As I'm dropping down into the squat, I'm trying to push the knees backwards. So really trying to find the connection into the side of the hip, into the side of the bum, and then it's coming up. So it could be a very little drop. It could be a very big drop. But just to see if you can be aware of that pushing out with the knees, that is encouraging the hips to fully switch on as I'm moving up and down, making sure that the feet are not too close together, that you end up kind of like ballerina style. See if I can go a little bit wider, so give myself a nice broad base as the knees bend, the knees are still in line with the center of the foot, the knees not going past the toes, so it's not creating that massive pressure at the front of the joint. And then once that I feel that I've got that nice good movement going through the hips, through the legs, then see if I can add the upper body one more time. This time, as I drop down, I'm going to swing the arms around to the side to bring them up and towards the ceiling, encouraging a nice lift, a nice extension. Then easing back, and then I'm going to try again. 2, and then coming back. 3, 4. Nice and smooth into the shoulder. 5, still connected to the hip. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and releasing back, shuffling the feet all the way back in, relaxing the hips, releasing the legs, and then I'm just going to change the direction of the movement one last time, stepping the feet a little bit wider than what you did before. I'm going to keep my left leg straight. I'm going to bend the right knee. So imagine the duck squat that you've just been practicing. I'm just going to do it with one leg. So I'm going to try and push the knee out, so making sure that the knee doesn't buckle in and twist across. I'm going to drop down slightly onto that right side. Again, it doesn't need to be too deep. I can make it as deep as I want. The left leg is straight. Then I'm going to come back to the middle. I'm going to keep the right leg straight and then bending the left knee. I might need to turn the foot, I might need to adjust to the foot. I'm going to do what I need to do to be able to lunge off to the other side. Then easing back, swapping the feet, and then I'm going to go off to the other side. So from one side to the other, think of a nice, easy, controlled movement. One leg is stretching, one side, one inner thigh is lengthening, the other one is loading. And then once that you feel that you've got a good range going from one to the other side, see if you can add the upper body. As I lunge over to the right with the left arm, I'm going to reach up and over, add a little flexion to the side, coming back to the center. As I lunge to the left, my right arm reaches up and over and go off the other way. Picturing the rib cage opening up, the ribs are pulling away from each other as the intercostal muscles stretching away. So one side, coming back, and the other. And then if you feel comfortable enough there to progress a little bit further, instead of leaning with the other arm on top of the leg, on top of the thigh, see if I can try and reach the arm the opposite way. So windmilling my arms around, making the side of the belly work a little bit harder to support the weight of the upper body as it's leaning off to the side. Still aware of the direction my knee, my leg is going, making sure that it doesn't start twisting forward, it doesn't start collapsing through. 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back. Shuffling the feet all the way back in, releasing the hips, releasing the legs. Lateral flexion is down, I'm just left with the forward flexion. So standing facing the shorter side of the mat, allowing the arms to come down the side, letting the chin drop down to the chest, the shoulders come forward, and then I'm going to start rolling down. Think of your spine like a bicycle chain. See if I can imagine to be moving just one chain link at the time. Bending the knees as much as you need if the hamstrings feel a bit tight, and tend to pull on the lower back. Allowing the arms to dangle, or use them at the front of the legs to help me support the flexion on the way down, to help me support the flexion on the way back up. I'm curling all the way back up in reverse, the shoulders and head, last thing to lift up. Then again, letting the chin drop, the shoulders come forward, I'm going to roll my way down. Nice support coming from the belly. Making sure that there is no pain across the back. No shooting pain down the legs and no sciatica. And then last arm, letting the chin drop down to the chest and the shoulders come forward. Rolling your way down. Bending the knees as much as you need. Hands on the mat. Start walking the hands forward. Lowering the knees down. Taking the legs around to the side. Coming down into sitting. You finished your warm up 3. Now you can just leave it to that or add a little bit of a mat work. Follow one of the other videos. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope I'll see you all soon. Any question, remember, just pop them in the box. A thumb up is always good, and please share. Thank you very much. Bye for now.